All right. Welcome back to Nick Comic Corner, Classic Less Non-Classics. This is episode number 2446 and episode number 2340. We have start of a new character we're doing a lot now. We haven't discussed this character already with the current stuff, but nothing of the old stuff. Well, actually, no. Scratch that. We actually discussed one issue of this old stuff like a while ago. I talked about Daredevil. But here we're discussing a character who made his debut in the 1970s, who is basically a reimagining of an old Western character. I might discuss in the future the previous version of the character, who was later renamed because of this character. This character, now, when I'm going to show him off here, you're thinking, wow, you're talking about this guy? Cool! Given the fact he has stuff basically at this point he doesn't have. We have Ghost Rider Epic Collection Volume 1, Hell on Wheels. And to date, this is the only one released so far for Johnny Blaze, because they did just release last week the first Epic Collection to collect Dan Ketch's run. And they call it Ghost Rider Dan Ketch. Now, from what I heard, what I saw originally, I think it was originally solicited as Ghost Rider Volume 6. But they figured, though, that wouldn't be a good idea. Just basic of Dan Ketch's own run. Yeah, especially since his run is 93 issues, along with a couple of annuals, crossovers. Yeah, probably make a big bang with that, especially as Dan Ketch is, from what I can tell anyways, it's similar in the case with Kyle Rayner over DC, where we have two characters making debut in the 90s, and people are very nostalgic for these characters, and yet some other writers, like the previous version of the character, at least the character made a debut about 30 years prior to this character making his debut. In the case of what happened with DC, some of DC like Hal Jordan over Kyle Rayner. In the case of Marvel, people like Johnny Blaze over Dan Ketch. Yep. Yeah. Now, of course, this particular Epic Collection, this comes from the very first couple years of Johnny Blaze's existence. From Marvel Spotlight 5 through 12, though 12 is actually not his actually his issue, is actually another character's issue that he just is a guest star in, but it's a crossover with the early issues of this book. We'll also have the first 11 issues of Ghost Rider Volume 2. I say Volume 2 because it was actually a volume published in 1967 by the same writer, Gary Frederick. Yep. And also include Marvel Team 15 because Ghost Rider's in the book. Why not? The other writers of his issues are Roy Thomas, Marv Wolfman, Doug Munch, and Doug Moak is basically, I think Jim Shooter basically told me how to pronounce his name. I actually tried to pronounce that name to Graham Nolan. He seemed a bit surprised that Jim Shooter told me about that. The fact that he thought that the way I was pronouncing the name, he thought that I was pronouncing it wrong. And I was just being very polite with him, like, that's what Jim Shooter had said how to pronounce the guy's name, so take it up with Jim Shooter, not with me. Though you might be thinking, did Graham Nolan ever work for Marvel Comics? Not that I can think of. Chuck Dixon has. But Graham Nolan? Nope. Not that I can think of. Yeah, so the other writers here, of course, we have the late Lee Wein, obviously. Yeah, of all the people working this book, at least I know Roy Thomas is much alive, so is Mark Holman. Doug has not been seen in public for 20 years. I've heard he's as far as I've talked to people online about this. Even people agree about this. Like, okay, so Doug himself does not make public appearances. As far as I've heard, he has not attended Comic-Cons. Like, it'd be something to get his opinion on basically, like, on how he feels about certain characters he created. Characters like Black Mask, how they were adapted, how he feels with the Batman adaptations. Like, his last book was 22 years ago. Now, as far as I can tell, I don't know what is wrong with Doug Moak. As far as I can tell, the guy's not dead. There's no account the man just died. He just stopped doing comics. I don't know the reason for it. I think he's about 70 now. Don't know what's going on with him nowadays. Another character I would love to hear his opinion on is Shang-Chi. I would love his appearance on Shang-Chi, on how Moon Knight's been handled, but I'll let him meet him. Now, the artwork here is done by Mike Plog, Tim Sutton, Jim Mooney, Herm Trample, Sal Bushma. Yeah, he tends to be basically like it seems like, is it just me, or it's like I'm viewing like a lot of the guy's work when I do all the classic stuff here. Yeah, with Russ Audrew. Russ Audrew, if I've heard of the guy is a legendary artist. Have met him? Nope. Never met him. I've all been working this book. I have met 0 people. I have met someone who worked with Lee Wein. Actually, yeah, one person. Bernie Wrightstein, who's passed away long after I met him. Yeah. So, Gail Kane, which I've heard about Gail Kane too. Legendary Silver Age inker and artist who, when they did the first cross between Superman and Spider-Man, Russ Audrey, the artwork for that one, he really wanted Gail Kane to do the inky for that, but DC decided to inker and he wanted somebody else. So, yeah, he wasn't very happy with that. And also, Neil Adams gets basically sort of unofficial co-credit with that particular one. So there's that there. The Marvel Spiral issues, basically. Now, Johnny Blaze is the star of this book from issues 5 through 11. Yep. He had taken over the book from Wear It by Night. Yes. So, a character he would later team up with in the 1990s. Yes, Jack Russell. Yeah, he did issues 5 through 11, which came up in a time period of August 1972 to August 1973. Basically, once every couple months, seems like. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then went to his own solo book, which, yeah, it looked like the book was started as monthly for the first couple issues, and then like they switched to bi-monthly for reasons and explained here. But the main book itself, it starts in September 1973, include in April of 1975. So yeah, we're already partway through the 70s. Now, the first issue, Marvel Spiral number 5, is of course an historic issue because it's the debut of Johnny Blaze, his love interest, Roxanne Sampson, and her father, Crash Sampson. Now, this particular story was very loosely adapted for the Ghost Rider live-action movie, starring Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze, Roxanne Sampson, played by Eve Mendez. Now, they actually did not include Crash Sampson in that version. They included Johnny Blaze's father, Barton Blaze, which I believe in the comics he was dead, though at this point they didn't really see it. Now, apparently, Johnny Blaze was actually sort of adopted in a way into the Sampson family. The Roxanne in this scene was a brother, seemed more like a potential love interest. So, Crash, of course, was dying. So, and by the way, the story itself with Johnny Blaze already goes with, of course, a lot of the origins are for him told in flashback, where he makes a deal with Satan, which just is later retconned to be Mephisto. And like, that retcon better than what Jason Aaron did for his run, which I'll get to that, don't worry. Yes. Oh, and before I continue here, the way I'm going to review Ghost Rider is more interesting. Now, yes, I'm going to continue viewing the current stuff. I'm not going to stop doing that. But between every one of these trades that I review for like Ghost Rider like Volume 2, I basically throw in a very quick volume. Basically, after this one, I'm going to be discussing Volume 4. You're thinking, wait, you started Volume 2 and then you did Volume 4? There's a reason. It's only 6 issues. So, the plan is simple. Basically, go through Volumes 4, 5, skip over 6, but that was an actual ongoing series, not a mini-series. Plus, it's longer than it. It's actually the third longest volume in the entire series of Ghost Rider. Then after I do Volume 5, I'll do, of course, all new Ghost Rider, which is 12 issues, and I'll cap it off with Volume 7 and Volume 8. 7, of course, is the Rob Williams run, and Volume 8 is the follow-up to All New Ghost Rider. Once I finish all these short-lived books, then I can be able to focus on the other stuff, no problem. Now, when I get to Volume 3 of Ghost Rider, there will be some skipping with this one. There will be a few other series like this where I'll be skipping some issues because I've discussed them already. And in the case this volume, when it's discussed basically, because I'm switching with Marvel Masterworks because there is no more epic collections of this one. So with that one, I'm actually going to be skipping over, like, here goes to book 11. For that one, I'm only going to be reading about 7 issues. I'll basically discuss the reason why for the last issue. So, now, also in the opening issue, unlike other times when they have love interest when they debut in the opening story, they actually take a while to find out the fact that the guy who they're dating is in fact also the superhero. In the case one, Ghost Rider. She finds out in the opening issue, and she's got no problem that she perfectly accepts it. Yes. And here's the thing about Ghost Rider. This opening issue is by Gary Frederick. Now you would think, now Roy Thomas is listed as a creator for this one. Okay, so what exactly did he write for Ghost Rider, you might be asking? Well, you're about to find out. For Marvel Comics for Ghost Rider, he just did. Let's see if I can find the extra. Okay, here we go. He just did issue 9. No, wait. Let's see here. Because I know he did some Ghost Rider stuff. Because this book collects the first. I thought it was more of a Spotlight worked on. Let's see. No, it wasn't Spotlight. It was Marvel Team Version. What the heck did he do? Why is the heck he's listed as... I think maybe it's a bit incomplete here. Let's find out here. Now, I thought for the longest time that Roy Thomas did create Ghost Rider, but he didn't. No, he didn't. It was somebody else. Let's find out, shall we? Yeah, I'm sorry about this. It looks like Gary Frederick just does the, if I can tell anyways, looks like he just does the Marvel Spotlight issues. Yeah, that's all him. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're curious, when Crash Sampson dies, he dies basically in his debut appearance. Now, what about the Ghost Rider issues themselves? I'm thinking maybe he did one of these issues. Let's see. Was this one? No, it wasn't issue 11. For some reason, now, also issue 10. It's not technically in this book, for good reason. It's a reprint. Yes, seriously, it's a freaking reprint. You might be asking, why the heck is it a reprint? The answer, I have no idea. Trying to find it here. No, not that one. It's weird though. Roy Thomas is credited as a co-creator for this one. Not sure why. It's weird. Yeah. So mostly put a lot of these issues, it just seems like though, like a lot of the time is like Ghost Rider doing his own stuff. Or basically it's like on its own, he just is there, but he doesn't interact with the Marvel Universe. Nope, not really. Also, the thing that possesses him to become the Ghost Rider is a demon called Zorthos. Zorthos is pretty much with him the entire frickin' series. Yeah, it wasn't until basically like the end of the run when he gets removed. Yeah, and when Johnny Blaze turns into Ghost Rider, it's basically Zorthos. Kind of in a way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's basic. We also, here's the strange thing though. For some reason, I think it's during the main issues themselves, where we actually get our first outside character in this book. It's mostly put, it's like very self-contained. It doesn't interact with Marvel Universe at the start of it. Yeah, at one point it's about dinosaurs. Yes, seriously. Yeah, and a lot of the time he's basically trying to save his own girlfriend. Yep. We also have a woman called Witch Woman, and she appears for 6 appearances, and she's here for the last couple appearances for Ghost Rider Marvel Spotlight. Appears in 3 issues of Volume 2, and basically appears also in one of the Ghost Rider annuals. Maybe it was Marvel Team issue. Maybe that was. Yeah, maybe. But then issue 1, we have debut a brand new character. Who is this character, might ask? Damien Hellstrom, a.k.a. Son of Satan. Also, Patsy Walker's future second ex-husband. Seriously. Yeah, it makes debut in issue 1, and the story continues in issue 2, and then it continues over in Marvel Spotlight number 12. Well, here's the thing about this issue. He becomes Son of Satan in this issue, and he takes over the Marvel Spotlight series, from issue 12 to 24. Yep. Yeah, he's here for basically 13 straight issues, and then he leaves. No, seriously, he leaves. He gets his own solo book, which gets canceled after just 8 frickin' issues. I'm not kidding about that. When he leaves, he gets replaced with Sinbad with issue 25. With 26, it's one of the 2 Scarecrows in our comics. 27 is the Submariner. 28 and 29 is basically Moon Knight. Yep. 30 is appearance by the Warriors 3. 31 is Nick Fury issue, which is about the Infinity Formula, which I've discussed already. The final issue, the penultimate issue of the series, of this volume anyways, features first appearance of Spider-Woman. And the final issue is basically all about Deathlock. Yep. Very interesting idea. I like the whole idea of Marvel Spotlight. It's like Marvel Spotlight, the Son of Satan. Yep. Yeah, and then pretty much basically like Ghost Rider continues like his merry way in his own book. Yeah, and then pretty much basically the Ruthless Riders, who were there just for a couple periods. Yeah, they pretty much get rid of. So yeah, he's battles bikers, a witch woman. We have Dude Jansen. And you're thinking, what the heck? Yeah, it's like, what? It's like, feels like random stuff happens. Like he battles random bikers. And then for some reason he battles a shape-shifting Zodiac. Yes, a character first appeared in Avengers 72. We got killed off in issue 7 of this very book. We have a death in issue 7 of this very book. What? Yes, seriously. And then, okay, 7 also features another character, his first outside character in the series, the Stuntmaster. Who is a Stuntmaster, you might ask? Why, he's a minor villain for Daredevil, which for some reason, the writers thought a good idea to put over in Ghost Rider. Yeah, he last appeared back in Daredevil 67, and Stuntmaster is here as a supporting character for this series. Yeah, he's almost like a mentor to him, too. Yep. He's here from issue 6-7. He's basically here on a semi-recurring basis until issue 23. Yep. And then he's gone. Pops a few more times, and that's basically it. I do appreciate that they brought in an outside character like the Stunt Master, which I thought was really cool. Yep. And they build more Satan stuff. Yeah, battling Satan, but then we have basically like a villain issue. And then issue 11, he takes on the frickin' Hulk. Yes, seriously. That's what he does for issue 11. But what about the Marvel Team Up issue? Well, he teams with Spider-Man. To take a debuting character. Who is this character? The Orb. And you're thinking, wait, you mean that weird eye guy that Jason Aaron created? Oh, no, that was the second Orb. This is the original, who wears a helmet. Shaped like a freaking eyeball. And the reason why, because he's disfigured. Yes, seriously. And he dies in this issue. He pops up in Ghost Rider. Yeah, it's like, okay, let's have this guy. His real name is Derek Shannon. Who becomes a recurring villain for Ghost Rider. Throughout this very volume. And then, like, he pops up, like, a handful of times in this book. He's not a really big character. He's not as wild as the Jason Aaron version of the character. No, seriously. Oh, by the way, he's also joined the book by a brand new supporting blonde. Which we'll discuss that in a future review, which, yeah. These issues are okay. I think probably the best issue of this whole thing is probably the Spider-Man Team issue in issue 11. But they're just okay at best. Though I did find interesting they include Stuntmaster in the book, which is quite interesting. Mostly you read this book, it's like, oh, Johnny Blaze battles bikers, occasional demons, battles Satan. It just seems as though like it's a serialized story, but it seems like a very much kind of weak beginning to a very strong character and very popular character in more comics. But I'll discuss that more later. Alright, next up basically we have is... not that one. This one right here. We have The Tomb of Dracula. The Complete Collection. Volume 3. Yeah, that's our next book here. Yeah, this is it's been a while since I talked about this book. This book collects issues 25 through 35, along with giant-sized Dracula 3, 4, and 5. I think 5 is the last one. Yep, 5 is the last one. We also have Dracula Lives, issues 8 through 11. Oh, and here are your titles for these awesome issues. 25 is Night of the Bloodsucker. 26, When Lurks the Chimera. 27, Nightfire. 28, Madness in the Mundi. 29, Vengeance is Mine, saith the Vampire. Yeah, mostly put some of these issues basically is like, oh, we have a woman who basically holds Dracula captive. She goes and kills some thugs. 30 is Memories on a Morning's Night. 31, 10 Lords of Dying. 32, Someone Call Him Madness. 33, Blood on My Hands. 34, Showdown of Blood. 35, Hell Hath No Fury. The Giant Size Dracula one. Slow Down on Killing Ground. Let It Bleed from Giant Size Dracula 4. And The Art of Dying from Giant Size Dracula number 5. And here are the stories you have for Dracula's number 8. You have Last Walk on Night Side, which is Doug Mullock's story with Tony Zell and the artwork. Black Hand, Black Death, Lee Wee and Gene Colan. Child of the Sun, Chris Claremont and Pablo Marcus. R.I.P. this guy. And of course, basically adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula by Roy Thomas. That's issue 4. That's issue 8. Issue number 9, we have How to Ward Off Vampire, the Lady Who Collected Dracula. which is basically Doug Mollek's story. Frank Grimm's in the artwork. Scarlet Glory, Doug Mollek and Paul Galesi. Night in the Unlife. No credit for that one. Twice as Vampire. No credit for writer for that one. For issue number 10, the opening story, The Pit of Death. Doug Mollek and Tony Dizia. More Striker's Dracula. The Blood Book by the late Steve Gerber and the artwork by William Robert Brown. Vampire Stalks Maroos with no credit for a writer. And issue 11, which I think there's like 2 more issues left to go for this series. Let's see. Yeah, 2 more. And I think that's it. Yeah, just 2 more issues, and then the series is done. I think the next, well, there's also an annual, but that's a reprint. Yeah, there is an annual, but it's just basically just a reprint. We have Pit of the Part 2, Agent of Hell. We have a death of a character named Inikio Lexaku. Yeah, he made his debut in issue 10. And also one of the brides of Dracula is killed off here. Vanilla Lemkasu. Yep. The opening story is Doug Mollek and Tony Zia. Vampires Magina. Doug Mollek and Whit Murmur, who's also the inker. More Bram Stoker's Dracula. Anybody Nobody Knows by Steve Gerber and Willie Robert Brown. And, well, that's your books for you. Now, here's the thing about the giant-sized books for Dracula. These books are not written by Mark Wolfman. Mark Wolfman just did the main issues. He never did the giant-sized books. Issue 3 is done by Chris Claremont. Of course, I also have multiple other stories in the book. We also have I Was Vampire, The Wedding Present, Mark of the Vampire, and The Man Who Was Changed. I Was Vampire was a reprint. Yeah, I think all the rest of the stories here were just reprints. But yeah, Chris Claremont does giant size number 3 with Don Heck on the artwork. Issue number 4 is David Croft and Marv Wolfman. I think this is the only one he did. With Don Heck on the artwork. And we have issue number 5, which is basically David Croft and Virgil Donigo. These 2 books in particular, mostly put... Now, in 3 is quite interesting. Because Lady Tarek, who decides to... This is weird, though. She really wants to get her hands on Quincy Harker because he's old and he's still alive fighting Dracula. So... she kidnaps him by massacring a bunch of people in order to get the Dracula because she wants revenge on Dracula for... not for blinding him, particularly her fiancé. Yeah, this is kind of weird. I don't know what the... I think it was killing her father. And the whole reason to get their hands on Murnosa formula. Which is basically something from the pages of The Darkhold. Yes, which I think that... Doctor Strange actually cast this to get rid of the vampires. Doctor Strange number 62. And, well, vampires are gone for about a couple years and they came back. Yeah, very weird. It's a very interesting story. Yeah, in issue number 4, which is basically they kill off 2 characters, the Carpenters. Beverly and Paul Carpenter. All about the Devil's Heart, which is quite interesting. It's a very weird one, this one. It's about, and the last one, which is the David Croft one, it's basically all about like an operator. It's like it's a story set in the 30s, which I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now these stories here, the opening story here was the first story in a while to not feature Blade in the book. Because this issue 25, is the debut of a character who is still around to this very day. A character by the name of Hannibal King. Which you're thinking, wait, wasn't that the character played by Ryan Reynolds in Blade Trinity? Yes. Except he was the vampire. Nope. He was not. I do not know the reason for it. It is by far one of the most baffling decisions they made with the character. I'm like, why the heck would you not make him a freaking vampire? Like, why is he had to make him like a normal dude? Yeah, this stuff was really dumb. It was also flashbangers with Deacon Frost. Deacon Frost actually made his first appearance in issue 13 of the book. If you don't know who Deacon Frost is, like the case of the Blade movie, he is also the same person who played Blade's mother, and has been recurring for Blades for years. Yeah. And then issue number 26 mostly it's all about getting toward looking for Doctor's son, which basically is out in Scotland. You have also this character named Chastity Jones, who's basically, I like her character. The way she's written is like, oh, we get at the airport, half hour. What about half hour? It's a private plane, and he's had sex with her. Yep. Despite the fact he's actually allowed with despite the fact he's allowed Richmond House, like he dates his Chastity over a few issues. Yeah, and she actually does not die. She just stops appearing in the book. We also have appearance of David Ossicle. Yeah, he is around very briefly for killed off here. Doctor's son, oh boy. It's like he was more of a bad guy for a villain, someone for Dracula than Blade. And he was here for a good period of time. I'm basically getting towards finishing up his run in the book. Yeah, I am. I think, does anyone think it's weird, though, that Mark Holman had this guy die in issue of Fantastic Four? Yeah. A lot of really fun here with this one. Oh, yeah. So, when Dracula is shot, he basically gets, there's this, how should I put this? There is this woman who takes Dracula hostage, and basically just, well, how should I put this? He mostly just she has him kill random guys. And she gets eaten by her. And she gets eaten by, well, she gets eaten by the people, the Dracula trained the vampires. Yeah. Really good set of issues. I personally enjoyed it. We also have the early appearance by Elizabeth Harker. Who is Elizabeth Harker? Quincy Harker's wife. Yep. Yeah. Really fun set of issues. I thoroughly enjoy this. We also first appearance was a woman named Daphne Von Wilkinson. And she's only around for one issue. Yeah, this is the manipulative woman who does Dracula kill people. Yeah, and then she's here for like 2 issues and then she dies. Yeah, I think they find her body in the next issue. Yeah, and also Dr. Voodoo joins the series. Yes. AKA Brother Voodoo. Yeah, he basically becomes a recurring character in this book for reasons. Yeah, I'm not sure why. He pops up here for a handful of issues. We're moving over to Wear It by Night to wrap up that series. Yep. But still loving Tomb of Dracula. Not a bad issue here. Though the one thing you can definitely say this book does wrap up is the giant-sized Draculas. I think the very next volume, let me confirm this, I believe the very next volume, volume 4, wraps up the Dracula Lives books. Yes, it does. Also featuring the one-shot book, Legion of Monsters, volume 1. Yep. So I'm glad that gets wrapped up there. And then basically does volume 5 cap up the volume? Yes, it does. It also features basically a mini-series for Dracula and more stuff basically later. Yeah. Now, there is also volume 6. Even though it's canceled, I will be discussing this one. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll discuss the issues that are published in this damn thing. Because, why not? I love the whole idea of continuing Dracula. But when I finish with volume 6, that'll be... You're thinking, like, would I be done with Dracula at that point? Not really. Like, is there a Dracula book published? Yes, there is. Is there a trade for it? Well, I probably would discuss the future. Yeah, there's actually a couple more volumes of Dracula, two more Dracula even afterwards, but I probably will be discussing in the future. Don't worry. So, even if basically I do wrap up discussing volume, we'll be discussing volumes 2, 3, and 4. Don't worry. And basically, we did like one video. Oh, what rating do I give to a Dracula? 10 out of 10 because it's awesome. Okay, so that's the big love you. I'm going to go ahead and watch case close. And the nice thing about this, don't have to look anything up for this one because it's complete and original, okay? Bye.